Good morning. Waking up to an odd day today. I don't know what you guys were doing last night, but I was watching the news. Kind of getting a sense for where we are at with this thing. Um, how serious do we take it? And it's. I wish I could see more actual news coming out of Italy, and I've not tried hard. I googled a couple of things, but I'd like to see what the truth is there. Um, but I think that for me, I think I start taking this a little more serious. And I think what my I'm taking my lead from like rich people. I'm taking my lead from like the Mark Cubans of the world, who after the NBA canceled their season, he had a press conference in which he said, "This is the right move. I'm not worried about when it's going to restart. I'm just worried about now." And I think that that's the thing that we need to worry about. Like, so if we are a couple of weeks behind where Italy is now, the goal is to avoid what they ran into. Countries like China and South Korea, uh, were able to stop this because they got crazy with testing and what they needed to do to stop it from spreading by locking everything down. And our response, as of yet, has been pretty disjointed. And I think it's natural. I think, especially as Americans, we kind of want to be free and we want to do what we want and we want to have the freedom to go about our lives. Um, but I think we're getting beyond that now. I mean, like, I even did it too. Like, I still went out and I had my beer while my kid was at CCD on Tuesday night, right? But walking out, I kind of thought this might be the last one I have for a while. And I stocked up on some non-perishable stuff. And just kind of anticipating it. But I think if you look at like the rich people and what they're doing, they're mitigating their risk, right? And the key concept is this: it's better to be cautious and be wrong than be dismissive and be wrong. Because dismissive and wrong is calamity. Cautious and wrong means we were inconvenienced. So, and it's different for a lot of people because there's a lot of people that need to work, right? And I hope, and this is my hope for the people that depend on an hourly wage. My hope is that there is some sort of solution the government offers or your employer offers that doesn't absolve you of things you're responsible for, but maybe allows you to put things off. Maybe credit card companies give everybody a month grace period. Maybe bills are kind of given a grace period because, employees are going to be given a grace period as far as payroll is concerned. On the flip side of it, they can't make any money either. So this whole thing's going to come to a halt, or at least a significant slowdown based on all of the numbers we're seeing. So, everybody's going to have to deal with it in a different way, and it's going to be stressful for everybody. But the people that are going to be most okay and the least stressed are going to be the ones that are prepared, to, be distant from other people. That social distancing that they're talking about. Prepared financially to meet their minimum bills. How does this relate to our daily disciplines and our priorities and how we're focusing on what we're doing in this group? I think it's, being mindful, centered, evaluating every day the reality of the situation. Don't try to be aware of when your own preconceived notions might be overriding what might be the best response, right? And even like the discussion in my child's school district Facebook group, there's people going, well, okay, so if we cancel schools now, then what? When do they come back? And there's people arguing back and forth about what's right and what's wrong. And I think that, it's hard, but the people that are dismissive and say that, it's just a sickness, everybody's going to get it, doesn't matter, whatever. That's not the point. Like, we might all get it. We don't all want to get it at once. And so we need to be open to understanding the reality of the situation. We have, the smartest doctors in our country telling us, this is happening, we need to prepare for it. We have the smartest business owners, billionaires in our country saying we need to be doing things now. You have major celebrities like Tom Hanks coming down with it. Like, so this is hitting real people. NBA shutting down their entire season for the moment and not telling us when it's going to restart because they don't know. We don't have that information yet. So working on the information and the evidence we see from other countries, right now we need to slow things down. Right now we need to be mindful about what is most important right now, right? It's all related to the activities we practice with Define My Day. Be mindful of what is most important right now. What actions can you take today that align with your values and purpose? For me, it's the health of my family, right? The health of my family. So I'm going to do what I need to do to keep my boys safe and to keep myself safe and my wife safe, right? The four of us. Now, my other priorities, you guys. I'm going to be here every day, and we're going to be talking about things every day. And we'll probably be talking about how what we do daily reflects with this whole situation and how we handle it moving forward. And if you guys need to talk about it in this group, and as long as it doesn't get political, this isn't political. This is a human issue. So talk about it. Get tips, whatever you need to do in this group. It is fine to talk about it. Just don't start attacking people about being over, whatever or under whatever. Like, this is a conversation place. But I think that we need to be careful. We need to stop it now, and we can stop it now by taking the precautions that they're telling us to take. Wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home. Don't go to any big gatherings. And it's frustrating because Pittsburgh, the city that I'm in, we canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade, but they still have hockey games going on. They still have the Home and Garden Show going on. So it's still disjointed from a governmental perspective. School districts are still having class. At some point, we need to decide to say, okay, let's take a breather, whether it's 2 weeks or whatever, and see where we're at, assess it, and then decide from there where we're going forward. But you can't make decisions 2 weeks down the road when we haven't made decisions now. So, while I'm all for, looking into the future, planning 3 steps ahead, this is one of those things where there's so much fog and we don't know where we are at right now that we can't plan. We can't plan that, okay, we're only going to take 2 weeks off of school. We're going to plan for 2 weeks off of school, and then at that point we're going to assess whether we need to continue to take more days off of school. The NBA, suspension indefinitely. I'm not getting on a plane. I'm not getting on a plane. I want to visit family. I want to see my dad. I want to see my sister. I want to see my stepmother. But my brother, I want to see my brother. But I'm not going anywhere right now. I'm staying home. Right. My priority is staying healthy. So yeah, just be safe and take into consideration. Especially with young kids right now, like college age kids, they're flipping out because they can't. Their schools are getting called off or whatever. I think it's that. At some point you have to realize that there's something bigger going on than you. And, that's that self-centeredness that the younger generation has, and they all do, right? But it's that, take into consideration that you could be walking around and you might never show a symptom. But, you come in contact with somebody who's, 65 years old or 45 years old even, and that person could be put in a precarious situation because you just didn't want to give up a couple of weeks of going out or whatever, right? There's a doctor that they interviewed last night. There were 13 people that went to the Italian Alps. Every single one of them came back with it to the United States. And he was treating one of them, and the one he was treating, I think, was in his 40s or 50s. And that guy was actually faring worse than the 82-year-old that was in that group also. So, this isn't, this isn't just like, oh, it's only the extreme elderly. It's only, whatever. Like, this is, we don't even know. There's so much information we don't know. That's why we need to be more careful now and not less careful. All right, let's see what's going on here. Good morning, Helen. Pamela says, working as a microbiology manager at a reference lab that services nursing homes adds a new level of skill sets to my day. I'm sure it does. With the increase of positives in the states we serve, there's a major concern to the homes. There are not a lot of test methods available for many labs. This is taking a lot of planning and preparation for my work life. I bet it is. You are probably going nuts right now, Pam. Anne says, yes, it's hard. First we read or hear one thing, then we hear or read another thing. Hard to know what's true and what's not. And that's a good point, because you can go from CNN to Fox News and hear two completely different stories. And then if you're also trying to follow things on social media, man, there's so many skewed perspectives. And so this is, that's kind of when we have to bring it back to ourselves. How much faith are we going to put into somebody whose interest might be, the economy or even our jobs? Hopefully you work for a company that has your interests in mind. That the owner or the CEO of that company doesn't want their employees to get sick. Hold on one second. I think I might have somebody at the door. All right, it's just FedEx. All right, so there's like we got to kind of like look and see who we're taking the advice from. If the advice is from somebody that's talking about the welfare of more people, personally, I think that's good advice. But if you're taking advice from somebody who's got a dismissive attitude or has other priorities in mind, then I think we need to say, like, does this person have my best interests in mind? And I'll tell you here, I mean, so my wife and I and my kids I kept my kids home. Our school district is in session today. My kids are staying home today. It's not for any reason other than things are rapidly moving, and I want to assess the situation over the next 4 days. There are way too many other schools closing off. There is a report that one of the Pittsburgh public schools might have somebody that may have been exposed there. It's moving way too fast. So I'm trying to give my kids 4 days of, let's hang out in the house. We have enough stuff in the house to last us for a while. We'll do what we need to do, getting out and taking care of what we need to take care of outside of the house. My Luann, who works with us here, I told her to work from home. She feels more comfortable working from home. Look, we could work better together here, but it's not worth it. I'm just not. I would rather everybody, even if we only have one other person working with us, I would rather everybody be more safe than not. And if something happens, and my wife called the school district, called the office and said, look, we're just not comfortable right now. And, hopefully they understand it. But, I'm not willing to put any more risk out there than I need to. Pamela says CDC and the WHO are two of the best references. Check out the websites. That's common sense, right? Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, Pamela, so many people listen to like celebrity opinions, right? Even that basketball player on Monday was like, touching all the things. Oh, I'm not afraid of coronavirus. And it's almost crazy, like it's scripted. This guy ends up with coronavirus and shuts down the entire league, right? So, like, don't listen to the celebrity that's like telling you whatever. Go to the trusted sources, right? CDC, WHO. But I would also say, there are still some articles out there going, it's still okay to travel within the United States. I'm sorry. There was an article out there that the title was Cancel Everything. I'm in line with that, right? I'm in line with like, look, if I don't need to go, I'm not going. If I don't need to be doing something, I'm not doing it. If it's something elective and if it's something that's just for fun, I can inconvenience myself for a little bit of time. And I would hope that other people feel the same way. Hi, Define My Day. Duquesne Light has pulled its employees from volunteering at Home and Garden Show in Pittsburgh, and they are the main sponsors in Pittsburgh. Yeah, so that's Luann commenting as Define My Day. Hi, Luann. So her husband works for Duquesne Light, our local electric company, and they pulled all their volunteers from the home show, which is smart. It's like and they're the big sponsor. We got to take care of the people, right? We got to take care of the people first. So and I hope that as we're moving forward, I'm going to try. We'll talk about this, and I'm going to be live at 3:00 today on the Nick Boris Facebook page, and we're going to do like the regular like half hour to 1 hour session, and we'll talk about some of like the best tips that are out there on how to handle this. So I hope you'll join me for that. We'll talk about that at 3:00, and I'm going to schedule it for you here pretty soon so you guys can see it. But we'll try every day in this group, and this will be uploaded onto the podcast the Defining Life podcast every day, so you can listen to it if you're on the go. We're going to talk about how we can use this process to help us get through a situation like this. So we're going to try to come and have conversation about that every day. And like you said, Diane, staying focused, true to my top priorities and working the plan in ways I can stay out of large groups. That's exactly it, and that's what I'm getting into. So you're like perfect timing. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, so we're going to talk about how this process and that process of just being mindful about what the priorities are, because I can want to continue to go out to a restaurant and see my friends, or to social events, or I can want to continue to try to grow my business, but in reality, my priority might need to shift to taking care of my employees, my customers, my family. There's a lot of things that I might want to go visit my friends. I might miss my friends. I might whatever. But maybe it's time to FaceTime, because what I want maybe now doesn't anymore align with my priorities. So it's going to be that constant evaluation and self-awareness and trying to figure out what should I be doing right now. So I hope you guys are all safe. I hope you guys are all handling the situation as best you can. For me, daily, it's checking in with the news while not getting in too far into it. I don't want to get stuck, and just, drilling into every detail. That's not necessary either. But it's, setting a plan, following it, and adjusting as necessary. Carrie says, things are starting to shut down in Texas as well. Houston Rodeo is canceled. St. Patrick's Day canceled in Dallas. University's closing. It's here. And I will be staying home as much as possible. Social distancing. And that's it. Social distancing, right? Just be safe, And it's crazy. And this is the last thing I'll say here before we sign off. There are certain people out there that are literally trying to infect people on purpose. There's a guy in Japan who found out he was infected and then went bar hopping on purpose. There's a guy in Italy that walked up to an American couple that lives there and coughed on them like exaggeratedly in like the middle of a square a week or two ago. And there's reports now this morning that a person flew on a plane and then once he got off, notified everybody that he was diagnosed. Crazy. That is crazy. So, Janice, craziness. It's craziness. Pray for the healthcare system. Supplies and staffing are going to be an issue, especially when people panic. Okay, this is actually the last thing I want to talk about. Yes, the point in all of this, we may all get it, right? We may all get it. The point is to slow it down. We don't want it to spike the way it did in Italy. And Italy's death rate is up there, 6, sometimes people are saying 8% death rate, because there's not enough supplies, there's not enough personnel, there's not enough ventilators to handle everybody coming in that needs it. So you may get it, and you may need to be hospitalized, and you may need to be put on a ventilator, and you may survive. But if everybody comes in at once, they have to make decisions as to whether they even give you that treatment. That's what we don't want to have happen. So we flatten the curve so it doesn't spike. We flatten the curve and we'll give them time to address it. And though they are going to get sick too, so their capacity is going to drop through this. So we got to be careful with it, right? Flatten the curve. That's it, man. All right, I'm going to go, but I will see you guys. I'm going to schedule it right now. I'm going to see you guys at 3 o'clock over on the Nick Boris page, the Facebook page. I'll post a link in the group for you, too, so you guys can get over there. Have a great day. Ride this out. I wish you all well. I wish you good health. Keep moving forward, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.